Hello everyone. Imagine a time 4,500 years ago when the impossible was made possible. When an extraordinary structure was built that still leaves the world in awe. The Great Pyramid of Giza, a towering masterpiece standing at 147 meters, held the record for the tallest man-made structure for nearly 4,000 years. But here's the real question. How was it built without modern cranes, bulldozers, or even wheels? The answer to this mystery is mind-blowing, and today we unravel its secrets. Weighing an estimated 6 million tons, the Great Pyramid dwarfs even today's skyscrapers, like the Burj Khalifa, which weighs just 500,000 tons. Yet, against all odds, it still stands firm, despite centuries of storms, scorching heat, and natural decay. How did the ancient Egyptians achieve this? And why did they build such a colossal monument in the first place? The Great Pyramid was not alone. It was part of a grand necropolis, including two other pyramids, the Pyramid of Khafra and the Pyramid of Menkaure, built for Pharaoh Khufu in 2560 BC. It was meant to be a tomb, safeguarding secrets of the afterlife. Ancient Egyptians believed in a life beyond death, where the soul journeyed to another world. Their pharaohs were buried with treasure, food, and valuables, ensuring a comfortable afterlife. Their bodies were carefully mummified and placed inside elaborate coffins, resting in the heart of these stone giants. But how do we know this? Clues lie in inscriptions found on pyramid walls and ancient tombs. While most pyramids contained burial artifacts, the Great Pyramid's burial chamber was strangely empty, fueling conspiracy theories. Some suggest grave robbers looted the treasures, while others propose outlandish ideas. Was it a power plant generating electricity? Did it store grain, as some claim? These theories lack solid proof, but they continue to spark debate. Now, let's dive into the biggest enigma. How was the Great Pyramid built? Imagine constructing a 137-meter high structure using stones weighing between 2.5 and 80 tons each, without advanced tools. And here's the most shocking part. This marvel was completed in just 20 years. Many assume slaves were forced to build it, a notion fueled by old movies and historical misconceptions. But recent discoveries reveal that highly skilled laborers, not slaves, undertook this massive project. They were well-fed, organized, and lived in nearby worker cities, with a workforce of 20,000 to 30,000 people working 10-hour shifts. The construction process was a feat of ingenuity. Over 5.5 million tons of limestone, 8,000 tons of granite, and 500,000 tons of mortar were transported from quarries. But how did they move these enormous blocks? Without wheels, they had to get creative. One brilliant method involved using rafts to float the stones down the Nile. To transport them on land, workers dragged them on sledges over wet sand, reducing friction. A technique recently confirmed by archaeologists through ancient tomb paintings. The precise cutting of stones remains another mystery. The Egyptians mainly used copper tools, but cutting through hard granite required dolerite, an even harder rock. Ingenious methods like inserting water-soaked wooden wedges into cracks allowed the expansion to split the stone. This level of precision and effort, achieved without modern machinery, is nothing short of astonishing. The Great Pyramid of Giza is more than just a structure. It is an unsolved riddle, a testament to ancient engineering brilliance and an enduring symbol of human ambition. Despite centuries of research, it still holds countless secrets. Was there an undiscovered hidden chamber? Could we one day find evidence proving alternative theories? Whatever the case, the legacy of the pyramids continues to intrigue and mystify, standing as one of the greatest achievements in human history. If you take a closer look at this ancient painting, you'll notice a man pouring water onto the sand in front of him. At first, archaeologists believed this was part of a ritual or tradition. But when physicist Daniel Bohr and his team tested this phenomenon, they discovered something fascinating. With just the right amount of water, around 2 to 5% mixed with sand, the friction between the ground and the sand significantly decreases. This means that moving heavy objects across damp sand would have been much easier, potentially explaining how the massive stones used to build the pyramids were transported. However, moving these stones horizontally is one thing. Lifting them is another challenge altogether. Without cranes or modern machinery, how could the ancient Egyptians have raised these multi-ton blocks so high? Historians initially suggested that a pulley system could have been used, but there was a problem. The wheel had not yet been invented for transportation during the 4th dynasty of Egypt. While wheels existed for pottery, they weren't used for heavy lifting or construction. So, how did they do it? In 2015, a team of English and French archaeologists unearthed a 4,500-year-old wooden ramp at an ancient quarry. This discovery suggested that the Egyptians used a sophisticated ramp system to transport the massive stones. Scholars theorized that a straight ramp was built from the ground up to the pyramid's peak. However, instead of a simple incline, the ramp was designed with wooden posts embedded along its sides. Workers likely wrapped ropes around these posts and used them to pull the stones upward. This theory aligns with an earlier suggestion by physicist Joseph West in 2014. He proposed that the builders constructed new ramps for each level as they worked their way up, ensuring that the incline wasn't too steep. Some researchers believe the ramps extended from the back of the pyramid to maintain a more manageable slope for transporting stones. Another theory suggests that a system of levers was used to stack the stones atop one another. This idea is inspired by the ancient Egyptian shadoof mechanism, which was used for centuries to draw water from the Nile for irrigation. The principle is simple. A wooden beam is balanced on a central pivot, with a counterweight on one side and a bucket, or in this case, a stone, on the other. By shifting the balance, heavy loads could be lifted with minimal effort. However, despite these logical explanations, there remains one major issue: the speed of construction. The Great Pyramid of Giza, for example, was built in approximately 20 years. Given that it consists of around 2.3 million blocks, this means that workers would have had to place one stone every 3 minutes, 24 hours a day, non-stop, for 2 decades. This level of efficiency raises more questions than answers, keeping the mystery alive. Beyond their sheer size and complexity, another mind-blowing aspect of the pyramids is their astonishing precision. The 4 sides of the Great Pyramid are almost perfectly aligned with the cardinal directions: north, east, south, and west. The margin of error is incredibly small, with an alignment deviation of just 1/15 of a degree. This level of accuracy seems impossible, considering the Egyptians had no compasses, GPS, or modern surveying equipment. So how did they achieve it? One popular theory suggests that they used the autumn equinox to determine direction. During this time, when day and night are of equal length, the sun casts a straight-line shadow in an east-west direction. By tracking this shadow, the Egyptians could have aligned their structures with remarkable precision. Another theory suggests they used stellar alignments, particularly the constellations. In 1989, author and Egyptology enthusiast Robert Bauval introduced the Orion correlation theory. He claimed that the three pyramids of Giza were intentionally aligned with the three stars of Orion's belt. According to him, the ancient Egyptians were skilled astronomers who used the night sky to design their monuments. However, historians argue that this is a fringe theory, meaning it is not widely accepted. One major flaw in this theory is that the three pyramids were not built simultaneously, making intentional alignment less likely. Additionally, astronomers in 1999 found that the pyramids don't perfectly align with Orion's belt as it appears today. Due to the natural movement of stars over thousands of years, their positions have shifted slightly. The lack of definitive answers has fueled even more extreme theories, one of the most famous being that aliens built the pyramids. This idea stems from the belief that human civilization at that time did not have the knowledge or technology required to construct such massive and precise structures. Some conspiracy theorists argue that extraterrestrial beings must have provided the Egyptians with advanced engineering skills. But as exciting as this sounds, such theories undermine human ingenuity and historical research. When we don't fully understand something, it's tempting to attribute it to supernatural or extraterrestrial forces. However, the more scientific approach is to acknowledge the mysteries while continuing to explore, research, and uncover the truth. Despite centuries of study, the Great Pyramids of Egypt continue to puzzle researchers, historians, and scientists. While many theories provide plausible explanations, no single answer has fully solved the mystery. Future archaeologists and researchers may one day uncover more concrete evidence, but until then, the pyramids remain one of the greatest engineering marvels in human history. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this exploration of the pyramid secrets, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating content. See you in the next video.